The agricultural sector is, we all know how important it is to Uganda. I mean, it employs 72% of Ugandans, but 31% of exports. So we need to work towards bringing this 31% higher. You can see that there's definitely an imbalance there. If you're employing 72, then you should be able to exploit 72%. But it also contributes 23% to GDP. So that also shows that there's something and more work needs to be done. However, the share of lending to agriculture also stands at only 13%. That also shows that we need to work harder in this sector. With only half of agriculture SMEs, only a small fraction of smallholder farmers accessing credit. And we all know how important the smallholder farmers are as far as agriculture is concerned. In this context, the agri-finance team will be partnering with government, private sector, and farmer groups with key focus on support for warehouse receipt development. As a separate work stream, the agri-finance team will also partner with stakeholders to explore opportunities for inclusive value chain financing arrangements in sectors as grain, coffee, tea, horticulture, and dairy. IFC recently carried out a country private sector diagnostic, and it did identify maize and dairy as a major crop, and the dairy that would spur growth in the economy as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. So we are on the right track as far as the economy is concerned. Warehouse receipt systems have served to expand access to post-harvest services, quality control, storage, finance. As we all know, access to finance has been one of the issues in this sector. And markets for actors along agricultural value chains, including the small scale and marginalized among them, like smallholder farmers and MSMEs. This helps to address pressing challenges facing the country, like reducing high levels of post-harvest loss, improving food safety. From a humanitarian point of view, what kind of food are we giving our children? Because we all know in the schools, maize is what is served to our children in school. And if the aflatoxin levels are that high, like we have been told, then we are doing a disservice, not only to our neighbors, because we export, but to ourselves and to the animals that we feed, which we end up eating anyway. So quality, expanding access to finance for value chain and creating inclusive linkages to domestic and export markets. Warehouse receipts are bankable documents of title to the stored commodity. Financial institutions may accept warehouse receipts pledged by depositors as secure collateral when issuing credit. This helps value chain actors obtain alternative forms of collateral when their access to traditional collaterals such as land and fixed assets may be constrained. Linked to its global warehouse finance program, as you all know, IFC is a global institution. It's the private sector arm of the World Bank Group. And our focus is mainly to create markets within the private sector. The World Bank works with government, and as IFC, we focus on the private sector. When we work with government, the work that we do is still to open up blockages within the private sector. If it's legal, regulatory reforms. We recently worked with government of Uganda on business licensing reforms. So it's a global institution, and IFC has over a decade of experience supporting warehouse receipts development across Africa and worldwide. IFC offers advisory services to support the readiness of regulatory authorities and other stakeholders. Of particular note, IFC has developed a comprehensive capacity building tool known as the Agribusiness Leadership Program for strengthening farmer organizations linked to globally recognized evaluation and scoring methodology. This includes key modules in which warehouse receipt readiness is integrated into the full range of farmer organization business processes. IFC can only deploy credit lines, can also deploy credit lines. As you know, I mentioned earlier that we provide investment opportunities. And so I'll just speak a bit more about it. We sometimes use intermediaries. We give financing to banks, or we give directly to private sector companies. So that's why I say that IFC can also deploy credit lines, risk-sharing instruments, and customized advisory services, support to financial institutions looking to expand their warehouse and inventory finance portfolios.